Okay, in this lesson, I want to talk about writing Python code that makes decisions. This is going to make our programs a lot more interesting. So to create programs that make decisions, we will use the Boolean data type or expressions that evaluate to a Boolean. And remember, Boolean variables or expressions have a value of true or false. And using Boolean variables, we can have the computer run different code based on whether a condition is true or false. So just some quick review on how we create Boolean variables. I could have this Python code. For example, I have right here, Python is cool equals true. That creates a Boolean variable and assigns the value of true to it. English is fun equals false. My students are awesome equals true. So each of these variables hold a true-false value, which is a Boolean. Now we can also create Boolean expressions, and you may be familiar with mathematical operators in Python. Just like we have mathematical operators in Python, we also have Boolean operators that let us create Boolean expressions, and the result of a Boolean expression is either true or false, whereas a numeric expression could evaluate to a number and return a specific number as the result. So this Python code here, I have my age equals 39, and then I'm creating a new variable called isAdult equals my age greater than equal to 18. This highlighted yellow block is a Boolean expression. And so my age, since my age is 39, that's larger than equal to 18, this variable is going to hold a value of true. Now on this next line is child equals my age less than 18. So my age is 39. Is that less than 18? No. So this expression would be false, and the result would be that isChild contains false. So this is a chart showing all of the Boolean comparison operators that you can use in Python. Now, comparison operators let us compare values such as numbers or strings to see if they are equal, greater than, and things like that. So you can see we have double equals, which is equal to, and we have the exclamation point equals, which means not equal to. We have the greater than sign, less than sign, greater than equal means greater than or equal to, less than equal means less than or equal to. And then on the right-hand side of this chart, I have this column that says expression is true, and this just shows examples of expressions using the operator on that row that would cause a true value. And the last column is examples of expressions using the operator that would result in a false value. So I'm going to switch over to Thonny, our Python editor, and let's just do some experimentation with the shell to see the values of some different Boolean expressions. So if I type 4 equals 4, you can see it says true. If I type 4 equals 3, that's false. 4 not equals to 3 is true. 4 not equal to 4, well, that's false. And let's try the greater than. So 4 larger than 3 is true. Is 3 larger than 3? So we can ask questions like this, and Python evaluates these expressions to true or false. Likewise, I can say, is 3 less than 4? Yes, that's true. What about 3 less than 3? Well, that's false. Now, we've seen the greater than, less than, and equals and not equals. Let's check out the greater than equal to. So is 3 greater than equal to 3? Yes, that's true. What about is 2 greater than equal to 3? And these questions probably seem obvious, but I want you to really pay attention to the operator and the fact that it's returning true and false here. So our last operator was the less than equal. So 3 less than equal to 4 is true. 5 less than equal to 4 is false. Now we could also do things like comparing a string. So is Matt equal to James? And that's false. But if I say Matt equal to Matt, that's true. Not equal to the string B. And you can see that's true as well. So we can use comparison operators on numbers. We can use them on strings. And these are going to kind of be the foundational building block to our decision making in our programs. So I'm going to go ahead and clear my shell. And I want to continue working with the example that I showed you in my slide earlier. For this example, I've created a Python file, class 5, example 1. And if you need to pause the video at any time while I'm coding, certainly feel free to do that so that you can stay caught up. So I'm going to type in my age equals 39. Is adult equals my age larger than equal to 18. Is child equals my age less than 18. And so if we just stop here and we save this, and I want to debug my program because I want to pay attention to the variables here. So click the debug current script. It starts on this current line. I'm going to F6 or step over. So my age equals 39. Is adult equals true because my age is larger than 18. Is child equals false. So we can see how those expressions were evaluated and assigned to these variables. So how can I start to make a decision with these variables? The building block that I use to do that is something called the if statement. And the if statement looks something like this. I start it by typing if is adult, then hit enter, and you can see it indented my cursor, and I can type print you are an adult. And if I run this code, let's see what it does. Okay, it says you are an adult, but my age is 39. I could change this to 12 and run that. So when I changed it to 12, it didn't print anything because this print statement only gets executed if is adult is true. Now I have to be greater than equal to 18 to be an adult, and my age was 12, so this code didn't get executed. So what if I wanted to also print a message to display that I'm a child? Well, I could do that by using an else clause on my if statement, and then I can say print you are a child. And now if I run this, it says you are a child. Now I want to kind of make this a little bit more interesting. Instead of having this number hard-coded here, I want to get it from the keyboard, and I'm going to say input. Now remember that input returns a string, and I want that to be converted to an integer. So input gets something from the keyboard. This int function ensures that whatever is returned is converted to a actual numeric type. And then let's just prompt, say, enter your age. Let's save that and we'll run. So in my shell, I can say I'm 14, hit enter, and it printed you're a child. Let's run this again, say 89 for my age here, and it says you're an adult. So this code is now making a decision based on the isAdult variable. So if isAdult is greater than equal to 18, sorry, it prints this, and if it's less than 18, it prints you're a child. Now, I would point out, I can have multiple statements or multiple lines nested under my if. So I could just do something like this. And I could also have multiple statements here. I'm going to copy that and just repeat it. I could have any number of statements under my if or within my else clause of my if statement. If I run this and I say my age is 89, you can see it added the extra prints in there. If I run it and say I'm 12, then it also puts those extra lines in there. So that's how you could execute different code based on a condition. Now, I would also point out, I could, instead of having isAdult as a variable, I could also just put the expression directly in my if statement and use that instead. And if I save that and run it, it should still work just fine. So you're a child when I put in 12. If I put in 33, it says you're an adult. So for your if statement, this highlighted text right here, it could be a Boolean variable, it could be an expression like this that evaluates to a Boolean, it could be a function that returns a Boolean, it could be any of those things. The important thing is that it's something that results in a Boolean value. Now, you do need to pay close attention because if I don't have my indentation in here, it changes the meaning of my code. And if I do that, you can see it throws an error and it says expected an indented block. Python uses indentation to indicate which block of code goes with your if and which block of code goes with your else. Likewise, if I added a print here that's not indented, then add this and say this always runs. Then if I run that, I say my age is 12. We'll see that it printed that there. Likewise, if I put in 22, we can see that that text got displayed for both cases. And the reason for that is it is not part of the if-else because the indentation is back in line with our main program. So let's keep working with this program. I want to make it a little more interesting, and I want to also ask for whether you are male or female, girl or boy. So let's just write a prompt here. Are you male or female? Type M for male and F for female. So that's going to be my prompt. If I typed M, it means I'm a boy. If I type F, it means I'm a girl or a female. And let's just have a variable to hold this and say, we'll call this gender equals input, like so. And I'm going to remove these two lines since I moved my condition directly into my if statement here. What I'd like for my program to do is print you're an adult male or female, or you're a male or female child based on these two variables. Well, there is something that I can do here. I need more conditions to do that. So I can have an if statement inside of an if statement. So I could say if gender equals M. Let's just shorten this back a little bit. I have my semicolon. So if gender equals M, you are an adult male, else we'll have it print you are an adult female, and then down here let's go ahead and remove these lines with asterisks. I'll get rid of that final line that says that always runs. And here, I want to say if gender equals M, then we are going to say you are a male child, else print you are a female child. Now we have quite a few different ways that this code can execute. So let's just try out a few examples here. I'm going to debug just so we can see how this flows through. And let's go into my shell. I see it's highlighted this first line to enter my age. I'm going to step over or F6. And I'm going to execute that line. It's waiting for my age. Let's put 19. It's going to now ask me for my gender. It says, are you male or female? Type M for male and F for female. So execute that next line. It's waiting there. So let's type M. And now we're at our condition. So if my age is larger than 18, we see it's 19, so that's going to be true. And we can see it printed, you are an adult male. So let's try that again. I accidentally stepped over this whole block here at one time. Let's run this again. And this time, let's enter 12 for my age and F for my gender, for female. And it says, you are a female child. And I'm going to try debugging this again, just so we can step through. And I'm going to step over, get my age. We're going to say 13. Let's step over again, step over gender. It's waiting for my gender. And let's type F. And here I want to use this step into button so that it doesn't skip my if block in one step. And so now we can see it's going to check my age larger than 18. And as you can see, as I F7 or step into, I can see that 13, which is what I entered, is not larger than 18. So it's going to evaluate to false. And then it jumps down here to my else statement because this was false. It goes down here to my else. And if I keep stepping into, I have gender equals male. It's going to check that out. I hit F7. It's looking at gender. That's F. Is that equal to M? No. So it's going to evaluate to false. And it jumps down to my else clause. So if you want to see how these conditions are evaluated, this step into or F7 is a really cool way to see what Python is actually doing here. So there you have it. We've covered conditions. I also want to point out, I'm going to just stop my program here. I could simplify this program even further and use a construct we call else if. So I could combine these and say my age larger than 18 and gender equals M. Then let's just get rid of some code here. And then I can say print you are an adult male. And I could add another branch to my statement called an elif, which is basically short for else if. And I can do another condition and say my age larger than equal to 18 and gender equals F for female, colon, and then print you are an adult female. And I could continue on doing this for my child conditions, I can say if my age smaller than 18 and gender equal M, I print you are a male child. And then my final condition would just be if my age smaller than 18 and gender equals F, print you are a female child. And I really don't need this else anymore because all of my conditions are now covered. So let's just save this and try it out. And it says I have a syntax error following on this line 11. And I can see what I missed is I missed my colon. So you have to end your if clauses and your elif clauses with colons. So let's try this again. And it still says I'm missing one right here on line 13. I need the colon there. And it's important to note this is a colon, not a semicolon. The semicolon has the little comma tail on it. Make sure you use the shift key to get the colon on these. Okay, now that's running. So enter my age. I'm 12. I'm male. So you are a male child. Run again. I'm 33. Put in male. You're an adult male. So this is another way we could essentially write the same program. We can combine conditions into expressions using this AND operator. And what this AND operator says is it says if this is true and this is true, then this whole expression is true. So we can use the AND to combine multiple conditions together. And it's a very powerful construct. Now I could also do something. For example, I could also make another statement. If you are 8 or 13, you like sports. Now that might sound a little bizarre, but we're just going to go with it for this example. And I could say, if my age equals 8 or my age equals 13, end it with my colon, print you like sports. So let's try that out and see what this does. So I'm going to say my age is 8. We'll just say female. It says you're a female child and you like sports. If I put in my age as 10 is 13 and say I'm male, it says you're a male child and you like sports, because remember my age equals 8 or my age equals 13 causes this print statement to be executed. Now if I run this and say I'm 9 and male, it says you're a male child, but it didn't print you like sports because this expression is false. So the or is another operator, another Boolean operator we can use to build complex conditions. And for this entire expression to be true, my age must be 8 or my age must be 13. So if this condition is true or this condition is true, it will evaluate to true. Now remember, with the and, this condition and this condition has to be true for it to be true. So that's how you can make your code do more complex decision making with the if statement and Boolean variables and expressions.